When looking at the flow of human history, there are structures that are not merely bricks and stones, but the embodiment of a civilization, the echo of faith, and the pinnacle of architectural art. Solomon's Temple, also known as the First Temple in Jerusalem, is exactly such a symbol. Built over 3,000 years ago on the sacred Mount Moriah, this temple was not only the religious center of the ancient kingdom of Israel, but also one of the most mysterious and magnificent wonders ever created by humankind. To fully understand its fascination and stature, we must embark on a journey of discovery from the designs in the mind to the exquisite technical details that even modern technology would marvel at. The story of Solomon's Temple begins not with stones, but with a burning desire for tranquility and reverence. One of the strangest and most captivating aspects of the construction process was the no-noise rule. Imagine a massive construction site with tens of thousands of workers, but at the foundation no one heard the sound of hammering, axe chopping, or any harsh noises of metal tools. According to ancient records, every stone block was meticulously chiseled, shaped, and finished at a quarry far away. When transported to Mount Moriah, the giant stone blocks simply fit together like perfect pieces of a divine puzzle. This silence was not only a supreme technical requirement, but also carried a profound spiritual meaning. The dwelling place of the Supreme Being must not be defiled by the brutal sounds of forced labor or iron, materials typically used for weapons of war. The temple thus rose in solemn silence, as if it were lowered from the sky rather than built by mortal hands. To realize this project, Solomon mobilized a massive workforce that is hard to imagine for that era. He established a strategic alliance with King Hiram of Tyre to obtain the most precious materials, cedar and cypress wood from the region of Lebanon. The ancient cedar trunks, symbols of strength and immortality, were felled, tied into rafts, and floated by sea to Joppa before being dragged up to the mountainous region of Jerusalem. Solomon sent 30,000 laborers to Lebanon, rotating 10,000 men each month to log the wood. In addition, there were 70,000 porters, 80,000 stonecutters in the mountains, and 3,300 overseers. This number of hundreds of thousands reveals the scale of a national project where all the quintessence of strength and intellect converged. Stepping through the temple's threshold, one would wander into a space where luxury reached absolute heights. If the exterior displayed the solid beauty of pure white stones, the inside was an entirely different world. The entire interior of the temple was paneled with cedar wood, covering it from floor to ceiling so that not a single stone was visible to the eye. But what truly made Solomon's reputation was gold. He had pure gold overlaid on all the cedar surfaces. It wasn't just thin gold leaf, but pure gold covering every corner, from the partitions and carved reliefs down to the floor itself. When the golden lampstands were lit, the firelight reflected off the brilliantly golden walls, creating a magical space so dazzling that it was overwhelming. It was not merely an ostentatious display of wealth, but a human effort to recreate the radiant beauty of heaven right in the heart of the mortal realm. Going deeper into the inner structure, the temple was divided into three main parts, each carrying its own symbolic meaning. First was the portico, a magnificent buffer space leading into the sanctuary. Next was the holy place, where sacred implements like the table for the showbread and the golden lampstands were placed. Finally, and most importantly, was the Holy of Holies, Kodesh HaKodashim. This was a perfectly cubic room housing the Ark of the Covenant. In this dark and extremely sacred space, Solomon commissioned 2 giant cherubim angels carved from olive wood and overlaid with gold. Each angel stood 5 meters tall, with wings spread wide, touching the walls, and meeting in the center of the room. The image of the angel wings covering the Ark of the Covenant evoked a sense of divine protection and the presence of the deity among humanity. An architectural detail that cannot be overlooked is the 2 massive bronze pillars standing tall at the entrance of the portico, named Jachin and Boaz. Jachin meant, "He will establish," while Boaz meant, "In him is strength." These 2 pillars were about 9 meters high, cast from solid bronze with intricate decorative details of lilies and pomegranates at the capitals. Interestingly, these pillars did not serve to support the roof or any architectural component. They stood independently as 2 witnesses to history, reminding anyone entering the temple of the kingdom's stability and the power of God. Casting such massive bronze pillars during that period was an extraordinary achievement in metallurgical engineering, requiring gigantic molds and precise temperature control that only master craftsmen like Hiram, a brilliant bronze worker sharing the same name as the king of Tyre, could execute. The number 7 also played a crucial and mysterious role in the story of Solomon's temple. The construction took exactly 7 years to complete, a duration just enough to demonstrate perseverance, while also symbolizing the completeness of creation. The temple's dedication ceremony took place in the 7th month of the year, coinciding with the Festival of Tabernacles, and lasted for 7 days plus another 7 days. The repetition of the number 7 was not a coincidence. It affirmed that this temple was a perfect structure, a human cycle of creation placed under divine blessing. Solomon's temple was also a convergence of nature symbols. The carvings on wood and gold were not just soulless decorative patterns, but images of lotuses, pomegranates, palm trees, and animals. This turned the temple into a miniature Garden of Eden, where humans could reconnect with pristine nature and the source of life. The combination of the most precious materials, stone from the earth, wood from the deep forests, bronze from the mines, and gold from the farthest places, turned the temple into a focal point of the entire universe. Although history has witnessed many ups and downs, and Solomon's temple was eventually destroyed by the Babylonian army in 586 BC, its influence still echoes eternally. It set the standard for all subsequent sacred architecture, from spatial division to the idea of using light and precious materials to create sanctity. The fascination of Solomon's temple lies not only in the massive numbers or the immense amount of gold, but in the way people of that time poured all their meticulousness, reverence, and wisdom into every grain of wood and piece of stone. Ending our journey of discovering Solomon's temple, we realize that this is not just a math problem about construction or a testament to King Solomon's wealth. It is a song of silence, a symbol of harmony between humanity and nature, and an extraordinary effort to reach the eternal. The temple may have fallen, but its lessons on meticulousness in work, respect for living spaces, and the desire to reach absolute beauty remain an endless source of inspiration for us today. Every detail, from the 2 bronze pillars to the angel's wings, tells a story of faith, that when we do something with all our heart and reverent silence, we are truly building values that endure through time.